I thought I was over it. I thought that I had recovered, and that's why I never put the pressure of a recovered person title over me. When it comes to trauma, whether it be in the recent past or distant past, I well and truly had to go into survivor mode because that's something I'm used to. I'm not used to the normal, to the mundane. That to me is more scary to me than huge things happening, because whilst I don't like drama and try and keep the peace all the time, unfortunately life isn't always like that, and it's about recognizing that. And I was almost naive in thinking that I had gotten over recent traumas and that I was dealing with it. And whilst I'm all about bouncing forward rather than back, we're all allowed to have our struggles and our times where we have our blips. Mine was only last week, and I'm still definitely recovering. I'm still definitely really nervous, even around the house. But I wanted to be honest with you because people often see me now as this finished product, someone who's been through lots of different traumas. Like I always say, these are the big headlines of my life, you know, kind of abuse, like bad eating disorders, inpatient units, all sorts of stuff when it's come to my mental health, but also attacks on me and different things that have happened. Do you know, it's been like Sophie sped into this world and then speeds all around it. But we are only human, and there's only so much one person can take sometimes. And for me, it's normally a multiple of things that have triggered me and are just too much. And that's when we all need reminding of why we're here. We all need reminding of our purpose. When people are struggling with the mental health, and this is from my point of view as a person who struggles with mental health and manages as well as possible through mind and body fitness, having affirmations everywhere, and people know me. They've sent me our remedy gifts and self-care boxes, because last week, and also amazing positive affirmations such as letting go of being a prisoner of my past and becoming an architect of the future. And all those things are great, but when we are struggling, it can be difficult to sometimes believe it at first. It can be hard because you start to think, yeah, but none of this means anything, because in my mind and my body and my life, because mental health really is physical as well. And I had all sorts of flashbacks and paranoia and different things going on. And I'm only sharing this because I'm not a violin I'm quite good at the violin actually, but I'm not a kind of I want violins at all, because actually I'm really grateful. I'm really lucky because I've had and have people who remind me that things that make me happy, even when I feel it's impossible to breathe, I feel it's impossible to see another day, I feel it's impossible to see another hour. People who send me those, you know, ridiculously gorgeous self-care boxes, those things that I do when I'm well for others, but then when you're unwell, people have this perception of what mental health looks like, and because people don't always present a certain way, you've got that stigma and that barrier to get over it. And a lot of people, the best thing you can do if you know someone who's struggling and you've got the energy to be able to support, is just to ask them what works for them, ask them how you can help rather than assume. Like for me, things like this just make me have a giggle as well. Like I needed my pole back in my lounge to dance on. I've got all my sparkles, I've got new gym gear, and these are just like, oh, I've got a disco ball because it was my daughter's birthday, and all these things, whilst they're ridiculous, it's not about materialistic things, but it's those things that make you remind you of who you are. Helping me practically with the house, helping me, taking me out shopping when I can't face humans and I just want to roll around on the ground, or bringing me shopping, doing all these practical things for me. I talk a lot, but I talk better on vlogs and writing than I do in real life. I'm actually really nervous. Even when I'm not through a bad period, I get really scared to go out the house, and that brings a lot of anxiety. I get scared to talk on the phone, I get scared to do many things, but I also do thrive with my mental health. It gives me the power of connecting with people like me who don't fit the norm. They don't fit the norm in the draconian system of health. They don't fit the norm in the normal world. They don't fit the norm in the normal mindset of headspace. We are creatively crazy. With every genius mind is a tincture of madness. I think sometimes my mind has more than a tincture, and I'm actually grateful for all the hurdles that I've overcome, because they've made me who they are. But I haven't just strutted over the hurdles. Sometimes those hurdles are still on my mind, and I've got to allow that. I've got to feel the pain sometimes and actually have the right people who, support me. Friends who've helped me online, even, because things have just felt too much. But then obviously I've still got to run all my businesses and keep things going, so that I can provide for my kids and like everyone. And then it's just about being aware of those things that work for that individual, because no one size fits all. And I know it's so hard when a loved one is experiencing mental health problems. I know it's so hard, and I, when I'm bad, can see myself in this like glass box, and I feel like horrid the way I'm behaving, or the way that I can't communicate or even express love that well. I try because I feel it, but then at the same time I feel like I'm just on my own, and I've felt really lonely and really isolated. And even though I've had amazing people around me, I just, it really has woken me up to how bad things can feel again and how bad things can get. But this isn't a down gloomy vlog this week, because it also shows you how things can lift. And if you can breathe and sleep, or just breathe that and live to that next hour, and just that 1 hour at a time, whilst it might be hard to see the future, try not to dwell on the past and the happy memories. They're all good, and to see how far you've come, but it's honestly about reminding that loved one to look forward, and eventually we start to believe it again. And I actually spoke to a therapist, and I didn't want to speak, to be honest, at all last week about anything, and I just wanted, that's the times where I need like girly gossip and giggles and silly things and jokes, because sometimes my head's so serious that I actually need that Sophie, which is that silly side of me, that bad sense of humour, who just likes, the lesser things in life sometimes, a bit common, bit down to earth. I just sometimes like that. And I spoke to a therapist, and I had so much going on in my personal life. I didn't tell them that I was having a really bad episode. I'm so good at working hard and putting on a face. And I said, we were talking about trauma, and I was saying, well, I'm over most of my stuff. And then the more we unpicked, I didn't want to talk about the past, because I don't like to dwell on the past. And then I realised, like on all my mental health notes is about all my different traumas and my recent traumas, and how even it's relative to that person and what impacts them. And we can go into that survivor mode, because that's what we've always been used to. That's kind of what we're trained to do, is go into survivor mode. Or even I know some people try and like kind of, you try and destruct good things, because you can't understand, and it's that fear that this can't be good because you've never had it. and there's all sorts of different situations where it comes out and we don't always realise that it's linked. And this is definitely about a healing journey, but also the fact that last week would have normally like absolutely thrown me over the edge. But the fact that I've got the right support network, professional support, and the people around me now who saw me like that and still allowed me to breathe, still reminded me of me, and are still reminding me of me, just means so much to that person. I'm that person lately. I'll always show up to my work, I'll always work hard, but that's the thing with mental health, we don't always know what it looks like. It doesn't come in one size fits all. Treatment therapy doesn't come in one size fits all. Might be fitness, might be dancing, might be writing. I tend to do it all. I'm literally in my dance shoes now, if you can see them. Got my writing, my column, and in my gym gear. And I'm just about to coach someone on media. And yeah, so no one size fits all, and there's nothing wrong with not being, I'm so over it. That's what I always tell myself, I'm so over it. This is just lessons, and whilst I've done well and I am healing, recovery journeys are journeys, and it's the same with my eating disorders, the same with anything. I'm so much better than I was, but I am still in recovery, and it's reminding myself of that. And whilst last week was a huge setback and something that I'm still recovering from, at the same time I'm going to see it as a bounce forward, because I didn't go anywhere near as down, or it wasn't at all for as long a period, because there's always a chance for a new day, and each day is an opportunity, even if we don't believe it, even if your loved one is fighting you at the time to believe it. You've got to remind them, if you've got that energy, or get them professional support to remind them, because it's about taking our power back and realising that mental health, there is no one size that fits all. Anyway, I've got a new vlog as well on my Facebook page at Mama May Blog, all on binge eating and what we don't know behind closed doors. As you know, I'm passionate about talking openly about eating disorders. I've got a book, Eat, Sleep, Control, Repeat, out on Amazon or wholegoodbooks.com, on my own journey from self-harm to self-love to be truly successful. And that doesn't mean my life's perfect. It is #perfectly imperfect nowadays, but it's so much better, because I've been able to get that support and actually start to recover and heal as much as I can. But it doesn't mean that I'm just going to get over it or get over stuff. No, it's not about putting plasters on stuff. It's about being honest with ourselves. But sending you all so much peace, so much love, and so many shimmies. One thing I've learned as well is setting your own boundaries, and reminding yourself. I should have written down what actually helps me when I have a bad episode, because when you're having a bad episode, it's really hard to see clearly and foggy, because you'll think nothing will change. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful, or at least you know that you're not alone, however you come across, that so many of us have got our own struggles and battles behind closed doors, but we are warriors, and we're recovery warriors, and I'm sending you so much peace, love and shimmies again. Bye.